to Kletus Ray's Roadside Service. I'm your host, Kletus Ray. What are we doing today, everybody? We are pulling out of this truck stop. Literally just took a 5-hour energy shot. My Lord, was I tired, and because I've had a long day already so far, and it's really actually technically just getting started, which is not good. Is this the way out? How do you get out of this fucking truck stop here? Oh, all right. I was gonna go out the entrance. That's not good. Don't do that. Never been to this truck stop before. Even though it's pretty local to me. I'm normally never on the highway around this area. But all right, let's talk about what happened today. Uh, well, I guess we could start off with what happened the other day. My podcast was stolen. Michael and Jeremy Steal Your Podcast stole the Cletus Race Roadside Service podcast. Uh, so that one will be coming out not on my channel, on their channel here real soon. So go check that motherfucker out. It was a good one. I liked it. It was a fun time, and I'd like to do it again, but I don't know. I did video, so if you want to see my face talking, you can go over and look at Michael and Jeremy Steal Your podcast, and you can see me on video. Now as everybody here knows, I don't ever do a video podcast. I do just audio only, and I do it while I'm driving. It seems like I can focus way more when driving, and that's kind of odd because I don't know. It's not odd to me at all. It's odd to everybody else because, like, I'll be on the phone with somebody and I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm just driving. They're like, oh, give me a call back when you're done driving. I'm like, no, I don't want to talk to you when I'm not driving. I don't want to talk to fucking anybody unless I'm driving. The only time I ever talk to anybody is when I'm driving. I need to talk to somebody when I drive. And when I can't talk to anybody, I talk to myself on the podcast. Um, Anyways, so I don't know. I'm hoping we can do that again and I can be driving around. I mean, I did the Walk Like a Mailman podcast. That was also at my home studio. But it just, I don't know. I'm like, I need to be driving around, but I don't have a lot of money to just be pumping into my pickup truck to drive around the neighborhood 800 times. So I was like, I'll just do it at home. And it worked out pretty well, but I don't know. I like to be on the road driving when I talk because that's the way I am. So, yeah, go check that out. Michael and Jeremy Steal Your Podcast. I better check something real quick. I better check on something real quick. Hold on 1 second. We're getting there. We're almost there. Hold on. Hold on. What am I looking for? I don't know what the fuck I'm looking for. Yeah, go check out their podcast. It's a good one. Oh, this is what I could do. I could go right here. Yeah, I don't know. What the fuck am I doing here? What the fuck am I doing here? I've had a stressful day today. Very, very stressful. So last night, was actually a really nice night. The whole weekend was awesome. Today's Monday, by the way. The whole weekend was wonderful. It was actually so nice. Uh, did have a couple of tornado warnings, but everything is fine. And then I went out riding. I went out riding Sunday. Yeah, I know. If you're following along and you're the fucking police, you know, you should understand that I have completed every step I've needed to complete, just waiting on my background check to come back before I can go get my motorcycle endorsement, because I cannot add a fucking motorcycle endorsement to my hazardous waste license or my hazmat license without renewing my hazmat. And renewing my hazmat takes time that I don't want to wait. Okay? So I am being a little selfish here. But I promise I'm not being any more unsafe than I normally am. On a motorcycle. So Saturday night, my uncle texted me and he said, "Hey, you gonna go riding tomorrow? Be at my house at 9 a.m." I said, "I'm there." And we went out trail riding. We had such a fucking good time. So met him at his house. I zoomed on over there, but not too fast because I don't need to cause too much attention to myself. Because let me just explain to maybe some newbies out there. I've had my motorcycle permit for a year. It is expired. I knew it was expiring, so I went and I did the motorcycle safety course thing, or the motorcycle training road course, whatever the fuck it is, and I passed it 100%. I also took my hazmat endorsement test, passed it. So now I have two pieces of paper that I should just need to take them up to the DMV and say, "Yo, throw these on my license," and we're good, right? No, they're like, "You need to go get a new background check and everything to update your hazmat." I'm like, "God damn it!" So yeah, we're waiting on that. But anyways, I have all the paperwork with me, so if I happen to have been pulled over for any reason, I could show them that I'm actually a good guy. That just doesn't. The state is taking too fucking, or the government, whoever's doing the federal background check is taking. The FBI and the CIA are out to get me. They're trying to keep me off the fucking dirt bike. Is what's going on. I know things. They've been sneaking in my house. They've been fucking with me. They misplaced. The FBI and the CIA snuck into my house and hid my heat gun from me. Okay? They hid my heat gun from me. The government works in mysterious ways, okay? I found my heat gun, but it wasn't until after I had already done a bunch of wiring. Okay, and maybe I left my heat gun where it was. Maybe it wasn't CIA. These are all conspiracies. There's a logical answer that maybe I just misplaced it, but I have a feeling the CIA doesn't want me to ride a dirt bike and wanted me to have trouble wiring some shit up the other day. But I found my heat gun. Uh, we're good to go. Anyways, I go over to his house. I zoom on over there, and we're hanging out. We go over to one of his buddies' house. My uncle, he's like 60 something, maybe he's not 60 quite yet, but he's right around there, late 50s, early 60s, something like that. Went over to his house. We met up with his friend, which is also an old fuck, 60 60-year-old guy. But anyways, he had a bunch of fucking dirt bikes. Went to his house, went in his garage, and he had a bunch of dirt bikes, probably 10 dirt bikes sitting in there. Um, he had a KLR. He had a KTM 300, and then he had a bunch of other older bikes, and I can't even remember what they were. He had Hondas, Suzuki's, Yamahas, no Kawasaki's. There was no Kawasaki. Well, I guess the KLR he had is the only Kawasaki he's got. But am I going the right way? Yep. All right. Sweet. Jesus. I was like, oh shit, am I coming into Kansas City? I should be going away from Kansas City. And all of his other bikes, they're all old bikes. They're really old, like 70s. I don't think there was any of them were 80s. I think they're all 70s dirt bikes, and he likes to restore them and whatnot. So that was really cool to see all of his bikes. Anyways, we go out, and they knew of some trails out somewhere along the river, and there's trails everywhere. Apparently, I didn't. If you don't know they're there, you'll never know they're there. But we went out, and these trails were fucking awesome. Now the ground was trying to dry out a little bit, but there was still a little bit of slick, mushy mud on top of everything. So, and I'm slow. I'm slow on the trail, so my tires were just getting caked up, and I wasn't, you know, I tried to go fast enough on the nice straightaways to kind of blow some of that mud out of my knobs, but it was slick as fuck. I laid her over. I laid her down one time. I was coming around a tree, and my front tire went to the left of the rut. My rear tire went to the right of the rut, and then I went in there sideways, and it fucking uh, tipped tipped it over. Laid her down. Uh, I broke part of my clutch lever, but it was a part of my clutch lever that I kind of wanted to cut off anyways. So that worked out really good for me. And I didn't, I mean, my hand guard and everything, I thought it would shatter, but it actually flexed really well. And my hand guard is still good. I don't have tree whackers, what are they called? Bark busters is what they're called. I don't have anything that's structural for my hand guards. It's just a thin piece of plastic thing that kind of blocks the wind a little bit. And I'm surprised I didn't break that. But anyways, we go out, and they're like, "Oh, let's go down to the river bank." And not a good place for me to go. I'm a fat guy on a fat fucking bike, and I sunk. And if I gave it just a little bit more gas, whenever I was starting to sink, I would have sunk that fucking bike, and I would have had a hell of a time getting that motherfucker out. It was sand, mud and sand along the riverbank that's all like super soupy and stuff. And my uncle and this other dude were like, "Oh, you just got to keep your speed up." And I'm like, dude, this is not where I need to be. I am going to lose my bike if I ride in here. So luckily I figured that out pretty early into that, and I turned around, and then we were just riding the trails. This guy's going that way, my uncle's going the other way, and I'm going a different way, and we're all just hauling ass through these trails. I mean, they are, because they're pretty experienced riders. They go down to Chadwick all the time. They've been to all the different off-road parks. They've been trail riding forever, especially together and whatnot. And I'm kind of new to all of this. I mean, I've trail ridden before a long time back when I was like 16, 17, and before that even too. But last time I was probably on a dirt bike in the trails had to have been at least 16, or at most 16, 17. And I don't know. They knew I was kind of limited with what I had. Even though my uncle, he's got a DR also, so me and him are both on the same bike. Basically, his is set up perfectly for him. Mine, I lifted it. I raised it as high as I fucking possibly could, and it is really fucking tall. So whenever you're trying to put your foot down and the rut is too deep, and you might not, your foot might not fucking touch the ground until you're falled over and whatnot. So I need to lower it, even though I don't want to. I like the way it rides on the road, the way it is, but I think I will lower it a little bit, maybe an inch, just so I can be a little bit more stable on it. Because my uncle's bike, he's probably his same height as me, maybe a little bit taller, but his bike is super fucking low. Like it looks squatted, dude. Uh, but that's the way he likes it. He likes it squatted down. He can really, I don't know. So I don't know. I might attempt that. I've got some ways I can do to make it a lot lower. At least in the rear a little bit, and the front too. The front, I've got those little spacers on top of the fork springs. I could take those spacers out, and as long as there's not dead zone in there, it'll be all right. But and the other guy was on his KTM 300, or no, 500. What am I saying? He has a KTM 500, which is a badass fucking bike. He was doing wheelies everywhere, and I'm like, oh fuck, I want to do a wheelie too. But he didn't have knobbies. I guess they were trail tires, but they're not knobbies at all. You know, they had deep grooves, but they're really close together pieces of tread. So he was caking up way worse than I was, but he was also way more skilled than I am. And his bike weighs a lot less than mine, way less bulky, and is set up perfectly for him. My bike just isn't set up very well. And it goes again to where we were talking, because he's like, what gear are you in when you're running through them trails? I'm like, first and on the clutch. Like, first gear is way too long. First gear gets me up to like 20, 25 mile an hour if I want to. You know, it's a very long gear, which he's like, oh yeah, you need to swap out your front sprocket. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. So I need to order a front sprocket for it, and the clutch is so fucking stiff on that bike that I need to get a new clutch cable. That's what all three of us decided right there, because they were both feeling my clutch, and they're like, damn, that thing's stiff as fuck. I'm like, yeah, sure is. My hand is worn out because I can't put it in first gear and just put around in the trails. I have to ride the clutch everywhere I go, unless I want to be hauling ass through here, and I'm not good enough to haul ass through here, so it's just what it is. But surprisingly enough, my left hand, my clutch hand, not wore out really. Like, my hand feels perfectly fine. My thighs and my calves and my legs, my lower body is super fucking. I need to stretch these motherfuckers out, because my legs are sore as shit from riding through the trails, standing up, sitting down, squishing my body down, and just trying to keep the bike upright and everything. But yeah, these trails were so sick. They were 4-wheeler trails, so dirt bikes were fine on it. You got two sets of ruts to ride in or whatever, and the trail's wide enough for a 4-wheeler to go through, so dirt bikes made it through just fine. There were a couple of spots that were like single track, but most of it was 4-wheeler trails. You're not getting a side-by-side down in here. The shit's way too fucking close to get a side-by-side down there. But that's another reason I like dirt bikes a lot. It's like, none of these trails are too fucking small. If you're on a dirt bike, you're going to fit on all the trails. They are going to still be tight and twisty and turny and whatnot, but at least you're going to fit on everything. I can't imagine. I can't imagine, like, the worst thing was whenever you're on a side by side or something. You're like, oh yeah, let's go hit these trails, and you start hitting the trails, and then you get to a spot where you don't fit. You're like, oh shit, and turning around a side by side in the trails is way more complicated than just popping the clutch and leaning the fucking dirt bike over. Even though I still need to work on my turnarounds, I've been just getting off the motherfucker and doing a 12-point turn, turning that bitch around. But I need to work on it. My uncle, he loves doing that. He loves just doing little donuts and shit. I need to work on that. I need to go through like some sort of a off-road dirt bike course to learn how to fucking operate this fucking thing better in the trails. We better be recording on the right thing. Okay. And yeah, I don't know. My wife sent me a notification. She's like, hey, because she tracks me with the Life 360 or whatever. She's like, it says you're on a boat. Are you on a boat? I'm like, no, I'm not on a boat. I'm just in the river on a dirt bike. But yeah, there was a couple of spots that I didn't hit that they went on, and I felt like a little bit of a bitch because there was like this it was a hill climb, but we were at the top of it when we went to it, and they just hopped down that motherfucker and rolled down it. And I mean, there was a couple that I did jump down, and a couple that I went up, but the big ones, the big super steep ones, I was like, fuck that. Nope, I'll find a different way around. I'm not about to. I don't want to get hurt. That's my main thing. I do not want to get hurt riding this fucking dirt bike. And I know I'm putting my, doesn't matter what I'm doing. If I'm riding that dirt bike, I am putting myself at risk of getting hurt. But I'm going to avoid going up and down the hill climbs because I'm not super excited about hill climbing. I like just whipping through trails and shit. Going up and down fucking hill climbs and shit. Yeah, I mean, it is fun because whenever you pop up on top of those hills, it's fucking awesome. And whenever you're going down the hills, you can just ride first gear and just down it, and it's a good time. But there were several that I decided I was not gonna do. And they weren't pressuring me to do them or anything, but I did feel like a little bit of a bitch, especially being like the youngest guy there. But I'm like, listen, guys, not doing anything I don't want to do, and nobody's gonna make me do anything I don't want to do. And none of these, there's so many fucking trails that if there was a trail that you didn't want to go on, you just drive a little bit further, and there's another trail that leads to the same spot that's not as bad. It was fucking awesome. These trails are so much fun. I don't know if I'd ever go out there by myself though, because I don't want to. First off, I don't want to get it. I mean, it would be awkward if I was somewhere I wasn't supposed to be and somebody catches me there, and then also maybe I do get into a little bit of trouble. The bike messes up or breaks down, or I crash, and you know then I'm out in the middle of fucking nowhere by myself. I like being with people, so. But yeah, those trails were fucking awesome. There was a spot where I was like, I'm gonna ride the dirt roads that went along the field that we were kind of going around. I was like, I'm gonna ride the dirt roads up here while they did the trails and stuff, because I needed a little break off the fucking clutch is what I needed. So I got out there on them dirt roads and was riding. But then I soon found out that this road has also some deep fucking ruts and puddles, flooded areas of the trail or the road that I was on. So I did completely soak my fucking boots, which was not fun, and my whole bike. Like, their bikes were dirty, but mine was caked in mud. Like, the whole fucking halfway up the engine and the whole rear swing arm, everything was under mud a couple of times because I decided to go this trail route or the road route. But yeah, we had an awesome time. We got out of there. We hit up some more trails and some other spots. It's kind of hard to remember exactly where we were the whole time, but met up with another dude out on the trail, shirtless dude with the tattoos all over him on a wore out KTM 300. That's where I was getting the KTM 300 from. The KTM 300 two stroke, and it looked like that thing had been launched off a fucking a couple of hill climbs or two with nobody on it. You know, it looked beat up. But yeah, I went out riding with him a little bit. He was showing the my uncle and his friend a couple other trails. I followed them for a little bit, but they lost me easy. I mean, I was like, where the fuck did they go? And so I just hopped on a couple of the trails and just was riding until I saw them or saw their tracks or whatever. I lost them completely. I was like, I don't think they went this way, and ended up turning around and going back, and I met up with them again, and then we went over and got some lunch at Johnny's Tavern, which was cool. Got me that Tank 7 burger. It was pretty fucking good, but I guess service was good, but it was just kind of, I don't know. We went in there, we sat ourselves, and then the girl that was serving us, like, we never got menus, we never got silverware, you know. But it was a good time, whatever. It was fun. And then, yeah, all right, now let's talk about today. What happened today? So last night, after I went dirt bike riding, I went home. Well, I guess I'm kind of backtracking a little bit too far, but I needed the kids to go to sleep at a good time. My wife was going to run out to the gym with her sister or whatever, so it was me and the kids, and I was like, we all have to go to bed at a really decent time today because I have to get up really fucking early. I had to be up at 4 a.m. because of the timeline that I was trying to keep, because I have a physical scheduled for 8 a.m. Tuesday, tomorrow, 8 a.m. And I was like, this is going to be hard to hit, but I think I can do it. So my plan was wake up really fucking early so I can get to the power plant, get loaded up, and get on the road as soon as possible so then I can potentially get to my hotel as soon as possible. So then I can start my 10-hour reset earlier than normal, so I can get off of my 10-hour reset super fucking early, wake up, as you know, be in the truck ready to roll, waiting for my 10-hour reset to hit, and then hit go, and then boogie back to Kansas City tomorrow morning to make my appointment. Everything was going very well. This morning there's a big storm coming through. I didn't realize it was going to rain again last night because we had already been in the storm shelter once before that or whatever. But everything cleared up. Everything looked like it was good. I went to bed at a good time, and then I woke up to just thunder and lightning and all kinds of shit. And I was like, oh, well, I got to go. And I hopped in my truck, drove it to work, got my truck ready to go, I was making great fucking time. And then I get to the power plant to offload. And, sorry, I got a fucking dump truck with lights on, and I got a DOT officer that just pulled out right after I passed. And I don't know, it looked like he's coming after somebody. I wonder if he's coming after me. That would be interesting because I'm doing 60. Here he comes. He's not in my lane, so we might be good. He might be after somebody else. He is after somebody, though. That is for sure. We are watching this happen live right now. He's after somebody. Is he after me? I have no idea. He's coming up. Is he going around me? He is getting closer. Please don't pull me over for anything. I don't know who he's after. He ain't after me. He's rolling past me. That's a sheriff, not a DOT. Maybe he was just doing a U-turn. He was waiting on us. I don't know. Can't tell if he's after somebody or not. Anyways, no lights on, so obviously he's not after. I don't know. What else happened? So yeah, I boogie over there. I get to my place, and according to my schedule, I was gonna be loaded and on the road at 7:15, which was perfect. Perfect timing. Could have been 15 minutes earlier, but perfect timing regardless. Uh, and I go in there and I'm like, all right, yep, ready to start pumping. And I told them that I'm like on a really tight schedule. They're like, well, I hate to break it to you, but we're on lightning stand down. You can't load right now. And I'm like, oh, fuck, you know. And the lightning stand down lasted until 9 a.m. So I was not going to make it. I wasn't going to make it with my load today. I was supposed to be offloaded there today. So I had to make a call to my boss and say, listen, I'm not even going to make it there in time for an offload, but I also have this doctor's appointment thing in the morning at 8 a.m. I'm like, the only thing I can think of is I can get loaded right now, come back to the shop, and leave the truck until I pick it up tomorrow and go do my appointment or whatever. And then, even then, like, I need to leave. My appointment was scheduled for 8. I needed to be on the road headed down there at 8 in order to make my offload in time. So I was like, I might make it, I might not, I don't know. Let's see what we can do. Luckily, I was able to reschedule the thing. I mean, I had to call 5 different people to reschedule my one appointment. I called the place with the appointment. They said, we can't do it without authorization from this person. I called that person. They said, I can't do it without authorization from this other person. Called that person. They said, we need to talk to our higher ups about this to make sure we can do it. And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. It's a physical. And they want me to have this new company that I'm about to work for, they want me to have my physical done before I get hired on. And the soonest available appointment that they would have after, if I don't make this one, was next Tuesday at 8 a.m. And I was like, that will work. I'll be working for your company. I will be on your timeline and I can go make it. Let's do that. And luckily they said, yes, you can do that, but only if you get your truck driving thing done today. So I was like, I can do that. That's perfectly fine. So I went back to the shop with the tanker, parked it. I had to do some little bullshit around the shop because the guys weren't ready for me to go over there and do the truck driving test. Moved a couple of trailers around at the shop. And then went to Little Caesars Pizza. Little Caesars Pizza is fucking awesome, guys. I don't know who else needs to hear it. Little Caesars is a wonderful restaurant. Their pizza is good and cheap, and a lot of times hot and ready to go. Like, you just walk in there, walk out with like 3 pizzas and a 2-liter for $12. Like, it's fucking insane. But no, Little Caesars that I went to in Little Mexico or whatever, they were not ready for me to be there, so I had to wait for some pizza. But I got me a little $6.99 meal deal, whatever the fuck, and it was awesome. Got me a deep dish, pepperoni pizza, crazy puffs, and a soda. I got a brisk lemon iced tea. And dude, that was a fucking badass meal I just had right there. So yeah, luckily I got my appointment rescheduled. They approved it and everything. That's good. They're like, but if you fail it, you might not be able to work here. I'm like, I'm not gonna fail your fucking physical. I'll be fine. I go through way more hoops and hollers or whatever you want to say. I go through a lot more bullshit with the company I'm currently with. Like they're like, yeah, you're gonna hate it. You have to do 2 days worth of training. I was like, dude, it's a week at my place. Whenever your training started expiring, they all expire at the same time, and it takes a fucking week to finish all of your trainings. There's so many fucking trainings I go through where I'm at right now with all the shit that we do. It's like 2 days worth of trainings is nothing compared to fucking 5. But anyways, went over there, did the road test, passed it, 100%. Did really good. Everything they have over there, I think I mentioned it in a different podcast, but they have international trucks. So it's a I have never driven an international. I've never been at a company that had an international. I think I did have an international rollback truck when I worked at the water moving pump rental place. We had a rollback that was an international, but it was a straight truck. This is a day cab semi. It was a little bit different. And this one was 10 speed, which is fine. Passed everything, looking good. I've never failed a fucking road test in my life. So, well, I guess I did my license. When I got my CDL, I failed my first road license. They were like, you need to work on your shifting. And they were right. I wish they would have just passed me anyways, but they didn't. But I worked on my shifting, and now we're good. That was 8.5 years ago. Anyways, no, I'm fine with it. Everything went well. The guy that I was running with, though, the guy that was training me or, judging my driving test, I ran his truck and trailer, and I ran over one curb, and I was like, whoa. I was like, how long are your trailers? Because they don't look any longer than my trailers that I usually run. He's like, no, they're the same length, it's 48 foot. I'm like, how in the fuck did I hit that curb then? He's like, oh, I have my fifth wheel plate pushed all the way to the fucking rear. I'm like, why? He's like, I like the way it rides with the fifth wheel plate all the way at that fucking ass end. I'm like, Jesus Christ, he had it. My fifth wheel plate is probably a foot further forward than his is. It just throws off the whole geometry of everything. So I had to learn how to. I was like, hey, I hit that curb, but I didn't know that your fucking fifth wheel plate was gonna be that. I didn't know it was at the fucking very back. You're throwing off all my shit. But anyways, I was able to drive it after that. But I was like, man, I thought I took that corner wide as fuck, and I still hit the goddamn curb. And it's because I offloaded their place all the time right now, with my company. I do business with them all the time. And I've never hit their curb before. So it was weird. But anyways, the guy that I'm going to be working for, my buddy, he is super duper excited for me to come work there. I'm super excited. I got my pants ordered from him, and pants and shirts, and got the driving test turned in. The only thing I'm missing is the physical. So that'll happen on Tuesday during my training or whatever, and that'll work out. That'll be fucking awesome, man. Really looking forward to doing that. I'm wondering if I can charge them for that though. Like, so you should pay me to go do the physical. Maybe that's why they don't want you to. That's why they want you to do it before you're hired on. But I'm like, hey, listen, I'm doing this for you. You should pay me to fucking go do a physical. They should be paying me to do the driving test. They should paying me when I was looking at the application. Like, hey, you guys are gonna need to start ponying up some dough. I've been doing all kinds of fucking jumping around to try to get hired on here. You guys should be paying me for all that fucking time. I'm good because I'm gonna be one of your best fucking employees. You better start paying me money. Anyways, the guy that I did the driving training with, he's from Pennsylvania. And I was like, how do you like working here? He's like, it's got its ups and downs. I was like, is today a down day? He's like, kind of. I'm like, oh, what happened? He's like, I don't know. It's just not feeling it today. I'm like, oh, all right. And then he was telling me he just moved here a couple years ago and he doesn't know. He knows the city pretty good now, but he's still a little inexperienced in driving around in Kansas City, I guess. I was like, where are you from? He's like, Pennsylvania. I was like, what were you doing in Pennsylvania? He was hauling raw milk for the Amish. And he says he really misses being in Pennsylvania and also misses his old job. I'm like, okay, interesting. But the weird thing he told me, he's like, yeah, I made twice as much when I was hauling milk for the Amish. I'm like, I feel like I signed on at a pretty good wage, and you're making double that in Pennsylvania hauling milk? Weird, I don't know. Weird stuff. I think you have to, whenever you're a milk hauler, well, if you're hauling anything edible, you're not allowed to have baffles in your truck because there's too many bends and turns for material to start growing mold or whatever. So you're baffleless, but I'm pretty sure, like if you're hauling milk or water or whatever you're hauling, you gotta have to have your truck, tank, trailer cleaned after every load, which could be kind of tedious, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, I don't know. He said he liked that job. I'm like, all right, cool. He said there's a couple places that are kind of hard to get into. That's about it. And I'm like, I don't know if I believe him or not yet. I don't know. I've never seen him drive, so I don't know. I'm like, I don't know if you're a good driver or not, because there really ain't nowhere I ain't never been able to get, you know. And I've been in some fucked up places, that's for sure. So, anyways, things are on track now. I decided to go ahead and head down to Alva, Oklahoma. I said I'm going to actually go ahead and head down there tonight because I was going to just still, even though they rescheduled my appointment and everything, I was like, all right, cool. Now I just don't have to rush around and I can go home tonight. But I was like, I would actually rather just get offloaded first thing in the morning and then work my way back, and I'm going to grab another load, and then I'm going to work my way back down, and I think I'm only going to make it to like Wichita. If I make it to Wichita, I don't know. I don't know how far I'll be able to make it. If I can make it all the way to Alva, I'll do that again. That would be ideal, but if I just make it to Wichita, then not tomorrow, but yeah, tomorrow night, if I make it to Wichita, then Wednesday morning, go from Wichita the rest of the way down there, offload, turn around, come back to the shop, park that bitch. It'll be a late day, but park it and go home, come back in the morning, and then I'll finally have a little bit of I'll have more of a relaxation for my Thursday, Friday load. Yeah, that would be nice. So I guess if I get back a little bit too late on Wednesday, won't be a big deal because I can really drag my feet Thursday. Thursday, is a real easy one. I just got to get loaded and drive down there. But yeah, man, good times. Lots of exciting things happening. I get really stressed out with some shit sometimes, and I've been stressed out. I've been talking to Hunter, and Hunter's like, "Dude, just quit your job right now." Like I would like to. I mean, I'm not against quitting right now, other than I need the paycheck that this is going to bring. I need these hours. I need that money. And if I quit right now to make my 8 a.m. appointment tomorrow, uh, there's 4 days unpaid, because I don't think the other company is going to let me hire on before my start date right now. I mean, they were willing to earlier if I decided not to put in my 2 weeks, but we've all been planning on May 4th, and I've had to reschedule this fucking thing and get corporate people involved to see if I'm allowed to fucking reschedule shit. I don't need to be like, hey, yeah, I'm actually ready to work right now. But yeah, I'm trying to think anything else going on. My son's four-wheeler is still in parts in the garage. I was kind of lazy over the weekend. I really probably should have put it back together, because it's ready to go back together. I should uh, clean the part off, and then throw some paint on it just so it doesn't rust or whatever, and then throw it all back together. I don't know what I'm going to do with that brake rotor. I might just remove it completely and then get rid of that brake caliper and everything, and just he's going to have one front brake. So it could be a little weird, but one front brake is better than no front brakes. I mean, two is better than zero, but I don't know. I'll probably just take that brake rotor off and see if there's some way I can get a new brake rotor for it. I should be able to. Just a thin piece of metal. Get a new brake rotor for it, and then, or I could just go all out and just start disassembling the entire quad, going through and improving all the welds, and alignment stuff and whatnot, because there's some things that are a little bit off. Like the guy that we went dirt bike riding with, we were eating at that Johnny's Tavern restaurant, and I was telling him about it. I was like, yeah, I bought the cheapest fucking quad you could off of Amazon, and it's all Chinese. He's like, you know, that thing was probably welded together on a dirt floor. I'm like, yeah, I'm also welding it on a dirt floor at my house. You know, like, he's like, oh, fair point. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure the people that are welding these things together probably have a lot more welding experience than me. But we're both. They're probably in a better situation than I am. Probably have a way better welder. I have a $25 stick welder I bought off of Amazon, and I'm just blowing holes in that motherfucker at home, you know. But I think it would be ideal to realign some things, like cut off some of the brackets and move them, make them more square, make the steering turn sharper, because there's a couple of things I could do to make it better. I could move the front wheels forward just a little bit, because right now if you turn it full lock, the brake caliper hits the A-arm. That's why the bump stop for the steering, the bump stop isn't hitting anything. Like whenever you turn too far, like there's a little rod that comes down and it's supposed to keep you from turning too far. That thing never hits anything because the fucking calipers are hitting the A-arm before you're hitting that. And then just the steering in general. I think I could make some minor adjustments to the steering that would make it turn way better. Something about the caster, make the caster a little bit better. I'm not sure, but oh well. Just put this motherfucker back together and let my son ride it around the yard at slow speeds. Um, then now I got to get my dirt bike cleaned up because it's sitting in the garage. It's fucking dirty. It's really fucking dirty. We, I, I don't know. It needs cleaned up for sure. My neighbor's house got, not his house, but his yard. His entire yard was underwater with how much rain we got, which I want to see what his yard looked like today at about 6 o'clock, 6 a.m., 6 or 7 a.m. That would be interesting because my work, right now, there's an intersection that floods really bad. Just with regular rain, it floods really bad. And when I came in this morning, it was perfectly fine. I mean, it was raining really bad, but I made it into work with my pickup truck. Everything was fine. By the time I grabbed my tanker truck and I left the yard, which was only 20 minutes or whatever, that was a foot and a half deep where I drove through. And there's several cars that come in there and they stall out and then they're fucked, But I drove the semi truck through that, and the shop where my tanker truck was parked, it's got a bunch of garage doors everywhere. And I was getting ready to hop in and leave, and that's when the water got high enough that it started pouring into the shop, like the whole shop floor. I've walked in that shop before, and there's been 3 inches of water on the ground. I mean, it floods the fucking shop. There's nothing on the ground that's going to really get hurt. There's a couple of wooden pallets, but everything else on the ground is either a tire or some hoses. And you ain't going to hurt that shit with some flood water. But it floods really bad. Now, I was just at the shop a little bit ago. Everything's all dried up and good now, but it was getting pretty bad out there. Let's see what this is. Oh, Jesus. What's it say? Hell yeah, dude. I thought I was going to get an email for my fucking Has endorsement deal, but I'm still waiting on that fucking email, man. Every time I log in to check it, it just says processing. So this is my idea with my hazmat and my motorcycle endorsement. Let me know if I'm being wrong. But Friday or maybe Saturday morning, I'm thinking about going into the DMV and saying I'd like to add my motorcycle endorsement to my license. And they're going to say the same thing they said last time. We can do it, but you're going to lose your hazmat. And I say, that's fine. Dude, you lost your duals. This dude lost his whole set of fucking duals off his drive axles. Anyways, back to what I'm saying. He's on the side of the road. His tires are on the side of the road. Everything's fine. I'm gonna shock him and say, yes, that's fine. Let the hazmat drop off. First off, I'm not going to need the hazmat for the new job. I'm not going to be driving for the new job for a little bit. Let the hazmat fall off. Okay? Now, I don't want that to happen, but renewing it is basically getting your hazmat. So, um, drop it off. That's fine. Give me the license with the motorcycle endorsement. I'm going to have Class A tanker motorcycle. So, whatever, ATM. ATM. Um, Give me that license, and I'm going to run around with this. I'm going to be like, look it, I got a motorcycle endorsement, everybody. I'm going to get a brand new license. It's going to be awesome. Then, whenever the TSA decides to clear my background check and bring it back, I'm going to have my brand new background check. The hazmat test that I took is good for 1 year. I believe it's good for 1 year. So then all I got to do is go back to the DMV and say, listen, I'm adding a hazmat endorsement to my license. And they're going to say, oh, you need your federal background check. And I'm like, it's in the email. Here you go. And they're going to say, you need to pass the hazmat written test. Here you go. And then I add my hazmat back to my license. Because that could take a couple more months. Nobody knows how long the TSA is going to take. Or the CIA, FBI, whoever the fuck it is. Nobody knows how long it's going to take for them to clear my background check. And there shouldn't be anything on my background whatsoever. It should come back as clear as it did the first time I got it 5 years ago. So that's what I'm thinking about doing, just so I can ride my fucking motorcycle and jump through their fucking hoops that I have to jump through just to get it. It's either that or ride the bike illegally, or just don't ride the bike at all and wait a couple of months of perfect riding weather for them to clear this shit, and then go up to the DMV and get it taken care of, all that bullshit. I'm thinking I'm just going to go ahead and add the motorcycle and let the hazmat drop off, then go back up there whenever the hazmat is good, and then add the hazmat on. Because, renewing it is like getting it for the first time. There's nothing different between renewing it and getting it again. At least I don't think so. So, hell yeah, brother. I think that's my plan. I'm gonna look into it a little bit more, but it's something I've been thinking about for a while. Oh yeah. Anyways, I think I'm done here. Been recording for a while. Kind of ran out of shit to say for right now. I'm going to be recording again tomorrow. So, all week long I'll be talking smack up here on the podcast. So, adios. Keep all 18 down. We're going to talk to you later. Bye-bye.